What if I told you that the fight over who controls America's economic future isn't just about policies, it's about power, plain and simple? Let me break this down. Here we are, months into 2026, and Donald Trump is once again throwing his weight around, this time targeting Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook. But this isn't just another tantrum from the former president. It's a calculated move that speaks volumes about the fragile line between political influence and institutional independence. And honestly, it's wild how much this story reveals about the current state of American democracy. Let's start with the basics. Trump claims Lisa Cook, a black woman and the first black governor of the Federal Reserve, committed mortgage fraud. But here's the kicker: these allegations are unproven. They're not even close to being proven. Yet, the president is leveraging them like a weapon. And don't get me started on the timing. This comes just weeks after the Supreme Court blocked his previous attempt to fire her. That ruling was a landmark moment, right? It said presidents can only remove Fed governors for cause, not just because they disagree with their policies. But now, Trump's back, and this time, he's got a new angle. What does that say about the durability of that legal shield? Honestly, it feels like he's testing the limits of that ruling, seeing how far he can push before the system cracks. Now, let's talk about the messenger. Deputy White House Chief of Staff Daniel Scavino sent a letter to Cook, accusing her of gross negligence in financial transactions. But here's what's fascinating: Scavino isn't just any admin official. He's a Trump loyalist who's been at the center of this drama since day one. And the language he uses? It's almost performative. Gross negligence? Calls into question your competence and trustworthiness? This isn't a legal argument, it's a political attack dressed up as a formal complaint. It's like watching a chess game where the pieces are being moved to distract from the Royale board. And then there's Lisa Cook herself. Her attorney, Abbe Lowell, called the allegations baseless and warned that Trump is trying to interfere with the independence of the Federal Reserve. But here's the thing: this isn't just about Cook. It's about the entire institution. The Fed is supposed to be insulated from political pressure, right? Yet here we are, with a president who's openly threatening to fire a governor over unproven charges. What does that do to public trust in the Fed? If people think the Fed is just another arm of the executive branch, then their credibility as an independent institution is in jeopardy. And that's dangerous, because when the Fed loses its independence, inflation targets, interest rates, and the whole economy can become collateral damage in a political battle. Let's also not ignore the bigger picture. This isn't the first time Trump has gone after Fed officials. Remember when he threatened to fire Jerome Powell? Powell's term ended in May, but he stayed on the board. Now, with Cook, it's a different scenario. The Supreme Court's ruling in June said the Fed has a special place in the government, but that doesn't mean the president can't keep trying. It's like a game of whack-a-mole. Every time Trump tries to remove someone, the courts step in, but the message is clear: the president is still trying to bend the system to his will. And that's terrifying. Because if the Fed isn't immune to political pressure, what's next? Will we see similar attacks on other agencies? The EPA? The Treasury? The whole system of checks and balances is on thin ice here. What makes this really interesting is the way this story intersects with broader themes of institutional erosion. Trump's attacks on the Fed aren't just about Lisa Cook, they're about sending a message to anyone who dares to challenge his economic vision. And honestly, I think we are seeing the early stages of a larger trend. When leaders start treating independent institutions as pawns, it doesn't just weaken those institutions, it weakens the entire democratic framework. The Fed's independence isn't just about economics, it's about ensuring that monetary policy isn't dictated by the whims of a single person. If that's compromised, what's the next step? A president who wants to control interest rates directly? A central bank that's just a rubber stamp for whoever is in power? It's not a stretch to imagine. So, what's the takeaway here? This isn't just a story about Lisa Cook. It's a story about the health of our democracy. When a president can't tolerate dissent, even within the system he's supposed to respect, it's a red flag. And if you take a step back and think about it, this entire saga raises a deeper question. How long can institutions like the Fed remain independent when the highest office in the land is constantly trying to undermine them? I don't have the answer, but one thing is clear: this isn't just about mortgage fraud. It's about the future of American governance. And that's something worth watching closely.